All right, good evening. We'd like to welcome you to our Elmore County Commission work session dated Monday, January 13, 2020. We appreciate you being here in attendance tonight. We'll call this meeting to order. We will begin with our regular business, a review of the minutes of the December 9, 2019 Commission meeting. Any comments or questions there? We'll do that during our business session. A review of the memorandum of warrants for the period of December 4, 2019 through January 8, 2019. Any comments or questions there?
Mr. Chairman, the memorandum of warrants for that period of time was $2,944,458.79.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Byer. All right, we'll proceed to old business. Discuss one appointment to the Elmore County Healthcare Authority Board, seat 6, appointment due 1/13/2020. We have the following listed candidates: Frank Barnett, Jason Britt, Lee Greer, Linda Lewis, Rocky Lyons, and Gerald Sweeney. First, before we discuss, I'd like to first confirm with Mr. Byer that we have received documents from each of these individuals regarding their expression of interest and willingness to serve on the board.
Mr. Chairman, we have received all of them except for Mr. Gerald Sweeney. He is the only one. He was included on the last letter from the Healthcare Authority.
Okay. Thank you. And I'll address this at this time as we proceed down to our new business. Further along, we will see that there's a discussion of two additional appointments to the Elmore County Healthcare Authority Board, seat 8 and 9. Upon receipt of the request for an appointment to the Healthcare Authority for seat 6, not long after we received the information that there was a vacancy, the Healthcare Authority Board made a board decision to expand the Healthcare Authority to 9 members of the board versus 7, which would require 2 additional board members, and in considering that and considering the correspondence that we've received in the list of candidates in consultation with our legal counsel, I propose that we continue our discussion of these candidates, and we at our future meeting we will consider 3 appointments at one time versus 1 now and then 2 additional appointments at a future date. The Healthcare Authority is going through some transition right now, which I fully support. I think that this is a great decision on their part, as we know that healthcare is a priority in our community, and this is an opportunity to have more participants from our community involved in how these taxpayer dollars are used. So we have these 6 candidates listed. Are there any additional candidates to be added to this list by any commissioners at this time? I encourage each of my fellow commissioners and anyone else who may have interest in serving on this board. We do have a form that we request potential candidates to complete to show their commitment to serving on a given board, in this case the Healthcare Authority, and desire to do so. Mr. Courtney, is there anything that I missed regarding the window that we have to make an appointment within 30 days would then open tonight and then would allow us to make those appointments either at our meeting on the 27th or our meeting on February the 10th. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any comments or discussion from the commissioners regarding this? All right, thank you. All right, we'll proceed now to new business. We do have one item regarding the probate office, copiers and printers. I know Mr. Shamblin is here from the probate office. The chief clerk will, he's available for questions if we have any, but Mr. Byer, I realize this is a lease on these copiers. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. This is under the state contract, and this is an item before you because it is a multi-year lease, so the county commission must give approval for that multi-year lease. This is in the budget and not an unexpected expenditure.
Okay, so this is a 3-year lease that similar to previous agreements we've entered into?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Any comments or questions there, or questions for Mr. Shamblin?
Yeah, Mr. Byer, you said this was leases through the state contract, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, we'll proceed. Consider authorizing chairman to execute memo of understanding between the Elmore County Commission, Elmore County Board of Education, and Rodney Griffith regarding future school property on Jackson Road. Many of you may be familiar with the Elmore County Board of Education's recent acquisition of property in the Redland area for a Redland middle school. This particular memo of understanding is in relation to the 3 parties involved in the development of that land and future construction of the school. Mr. Byer, do you have any comments regarding what our commitment is as a county?
Yes, sir. In the MOU, the basic commitment from the county is that the school board will be responsible for putting in an access road, and that the developer would be able to get access to that access road for frontage lots and future development. So we have already reviewed plans on both the access road and the development, and there's no issue. He just wanted to make sure before he finalized the deal with the school that we weren't going to put any restrictions on him to where it would make it unfeasible for him to access the road.
Okay, thank you. And we appreciate Mr. Byer and the Highway Department and our engineers and for your commitment in participating in this process from an expertise standpoint. I know that there are a lot of moving parts, but the Board of Education has been working on this project for some time, and I know that they are excited to see this along with numerous other capital improvement projects across the county that will improve the infrastructure that our Board of Education has for the students in the county. We'll proceed now to discuss 2 appointments to the Elmore County Healthcare Authority Board, seat 8 and 9, appointments due 2/10/20. We addressed this during our old business. This is the same list of candidates that were mentioned during the old business: Frank Barnett, Jason Britt, Lee Greer, Linda Lewis, Rocky Lyons, and Gerald Sweeney. So we will continue to accept any letters of interest to serve on that healthcare authority, and we will evaluate and consider these candidates in the coming weeks.
Commissioners, Mr. Barnett joined us tonight, so if you hadn't had an opportunity to meet him, if you'd already know him, he's here. We appreciate your willingness to serve.
Thank you. All right, we'll proceed now. Consider construction agreement with AlDOT to resurface and traffic stripe on Foxwood Road from Autauga County line to Deatsville Highway, project number STP-AA-2619, 254 ECP 261119. Mr. Byer.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, Foxwood Road and the next item, Deatsville Highway, are being let together in a contract this month. This is the last remnants of the regular federal aid that the county will receive. As you know, that all 67 counties in the past have been getting an allocation of a little over $500,000 in federal funds. With the Rebuild Act, that changes to where we're actually exchanging future federal aid for some of the new rebuild money. This is also our first project where the exchange rebuild money for our allocation that would have come in FY20 is being used to match this project, these 2 roads in this project. So the end of one era, the beginning of another mixed together. This is set to let the end of this month, which means these projects will be under construction sometime mid to end of March.
All right, thank you. And as was mentioned, the next item is in conjunction with the first. Consider construction agreement with AlDOT to resurface and traffic stripe on Deatsville Highway from Millbrook city limits to Alpha Lane, project number STP-AA-2619, 255 ECP 261019. Any comments or questions regarding that? All right, we will proceed now to our consent docket. Approved proposed plat for Teague Circle Properties Plat 1. Approved proposed plat for the Oaks at Eclectic Plat 1. Approve travel memorandum. Approve request for declaration of emergency illness for Catherine Irvin. Approve 84 hours sick leave donation from Christy Pullen to Catherine Irvin. Approve request of declaration of emergency illness for Andrea Smith. Approve 16 hours sick leave donation from Tatiana Edwards to Andrea Smith. Any items in the consent docket to be discussed? All right, we'll proceed to personnel notifications. Notification of hire of Gina Hanks, collections clerk, replace Kay Helms, effective 1/20/20. Notification of resignation of Justin Fomby, mechanic, effective 1/2/20. Notification of hire of Thomas McLeod, mechanic, replace Jay Fomby, effective 1/6/20. Notification of hire of Scott Baker, equipment operator 2, fill vacant position, effective 1/6/20. Notification of promotion of Kristen Norris, dispatcher tier 1 to dispatcher tier 2, effective 12/18/19. Notification of promotion of Bonnie Speed, dispatcher tier 1 to dispatcher tier 2, effective 12/18/19. Notification of resignation of Michael Watson, corrections officer, effective 12/30/19. Notification of termination of Jason L. Brosius Jr., corrections officer, effective 12/31/19. Notification of resignation of Nathan Owens, corrections officer, effective 1/7/20. We'll now proceed with reports to the Commission. Mr. Byer.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, several items tonight. One, at the last meeting we talked about a new collection facility in partnership with the City of Wetumpka. Work has started on that over the holidays and into the first of the year. Our target to have that collection facility open is March 1st. This would supplement the recycling program that was previously in the county, but also give us the ability to shift away from the countywide cleanup days and give the citizens of the county more access to to disposing of larger items. Our employee appraisal training will be conducted this week. We have 2 days of training, multiple sessions. This will be the last step before we can start with departments doing the appraisals and implementing the merit increases that y'all have put in the budget and worked over the last couple of years to get in place. We have received our FY17 and 18 audits. The only items in that audit are things that we knew about from FY16 that were not able to be corrected because of the timing of the release of the 16 audit. We are currently working on our CFO is working on getting the financials ready for FY19 for submittal so we can have the 19 audit begin, which would most likely be sometime this summer when the examiners get to us. Excuse me. We are currently awaiting our first proceeds from the Rebuild Alabama 2020 time frame. We were kind of given a heads up that we may get them the end of last week, first of this week. As of just a little while ago, we still have not received them, but what that'll do is that'll allow us to start building up some funds to be able to let our first round of projects. We're still slated on those to go to contract at the end of the spring, first part of summer. We are starting some of the initial work on many of those projects, getting them ready so residents will see, in addition to the signage we put out, start seeing crews over the next several months on those roads. In the meantime, we are already getting ready for Rebuild Alabama and the FY21 cycle. We are starting the project selection cycle to be able to provide y'all a list of our recommendations from the engineering staff. Those include some of the roads that many of you have brought to us. A few highlights that I can think of is Lindsay Road in Cusata, Lake Haven up in the Hopeville area, along with the Valley subdivision. Those are three that are high on the radar and also low in our rankings in terms of grades. The last item I had was the A-Trip 2 application that we were awarded. We've had one meeting. We have another one this Friday with ALDOT, working on the initial stages of the implementation of those projects. If you remember, there were 4 sites that were included in our application. So we are working on those, and we are pretty close to being in a position to where we can make an announcement about some of the improvements that will be coming with those projects. Mr. Chairman, that's all I have in the way of report. Do y'all have any questions or comments for me?
We'll now have reports from the Commission. We'll begin with Commissioner Holt.
One thing I'd like to say is it really looks good tonight. We got a good crowd, and conjunction with what we have a lot of times. So we need to continue to encourage people to be here and see what's going on. And I'd like to say too, in relation to our employees, because I work with Richie a lot on highway since I've got roads and bridges, but we've got some really good people that are working for us with the highway department. We got good people everywhere, but I really get a lot of compliments, and I try to pass those along so that it can get back to the men and women. But I really appreciate what they're doing, because they're pretty quick at going out to respond when I call them, and I'm sure they are with each of you guys. But you know, it's just wonderful to work with people like that really take their job serious, because I see them a lot on the roads, because I'm on the road a lot. So thank y'all again for what you do. Thank everybody, EMA, the whole thing, all of it. So, and again, we appreciate y'all being here, and try to invite someone else next time and bring someone with you. That's it, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Commissioner Daughtry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, everyone. During the recent threat of inclement weather, I just want to thank our EMA director and his department, and particularly all the volunteer fire departments. They always step up to the plate, and when trees go down and so forth, and we just, I don't know how this county could operate without our wonderful volunteer fire departments. And thank you, Keith, for all that y'all do and for keeping us informed. I'd like to express appreciation to Mr. Rodney Griffith. The chairman mentioned it briefly, his generous offer to donate 50 acres of land to the Elmore County Board of Education in the Jackson Road area. That was very, very generous of him, and we're very appreciative of that. Back in the last part of the summer, we applied for a grant for Burt Mill Road in the Tallahassee area, and this is through the High Risk Rural Road funding program. And Elmore County is the only county in the state that has a local road safety plan, so we're a pilot program, and we're kind of being watched by the other commissions. We applied for a grant for Burt Mill Road, which would actually pave 3 additional feet on either side of Burt Mill Road from about 4.1 miles from Flat Rock Road to Alabama 14, and we just received notification that that grant has been approved, and it will be in the amount of approximately $264,000. And it will include safety widening of the road, guardrail improvements, traffic striping, and so forth. And the project was identified as needing an improvement as a priority in this county. So we certainly appreciative of the granting of the awarding of the grant, which will be in the near future. We'll probably let bids in the early spring, so should see some activity in that area in the summertime. By the way, about 1,250 vehicles travel that road daily, so it'll be a much-needed improvement. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Commissioner Mercer.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm going to kind of bounce around a few different topics. First thing I want to say is I as well thank the EMA and our fire departments and law enforcement for what they did this past weekend. But leading up to a storm event like that, there's a lot that goes into that. We have to be prepared for various things, anything that could possibly come to the county, any damage or anything that that could impact our citizens. So I appreciate what they did. I had a conversation over the holidays with a friend of mine from another county, and we were talking about the Rebuild Alabama Act and resurfacing roads, and he said, well, they're about to start in their county, and what are y'all doing in Elmore County? You said you're going to wait until the summer. Well, one thing that we're doing here different that some other counties chose not to do, we're paying cash for what we're doing. We didn't go out and borrow money. There's some counties, for whatever reason, they just chose to do this, and it was their business, not passing judgment on it. They either issued a bond and went out and borrowed money, and to start these road surfacing projects, we're waiting until we get the funds in, and then we're going to start these projects. We've also tried to do as much work with our county forces as we possibly could versus hiring that out, so we probably are taking a little bit longer to start some projects in other counties, but that's just what we feel as if would work best for Elmore County. Mr. Byron mentioned a minute ago the centralized debris and recycling collection center that we're going to be opening up here very soon. I've had very many positive comments about that. When the countywide cleanup day started many years ago, they were a very good program. Now, if any of y'all have been to a countywide cleanup day, you have to get there probably by 8 o'clock in the morning to prevent from yourself from having to wait in line for an hour. A lot of times the trucks are full by 11. We think that by putting numerous roll-off dumpsters and in this one centralized facility, we can also we'll have the dumpsters for the collection bins for recycling items. We just think that's going to best serve our citizens. Many of you have heard me talk before about legislative issues. I again serve this year as the representative on the ACC Legislative Committee. The legislature will go into session February the 4th. There's going to be a lot of issues that we know that are going to come to the legislature for consideration that are going to affect counties. One of the biggest ones that we know that's going to be discussed probably early on is going to be the federal lawsuit that the state is involved in relation to our prisons. That's going to take up probably a lot of the time. As many of you know, that the presence of prison facilities in Elmore County is has a huge impact on our county, and it's something that we're watching closely. The other thing that will be a large item of discussion is going to be the sentencing guidelines. In 2014, when the sentencing guidelines went into effect, it has since then adversely affected the counties. Between 2014 and 2018, statewide, that we've seen a $65 million increase that counties have to operate their jails. Statewide, we on average have an additional 5,000 inmates in our county facilities. Of course, they've lowered the number of inmates in state facilities, but we're basically housing them. That's a direct result of some the sentencing guidelines that were implemented, and that's something that we have got to pay close attention to. There are other items that we know will be discussed, such as legislation that will hopefully facilitate the utilization of additional facilities within a Safer Place program. Which Safer Places, you may have seen, we open different facilities around the county ourselves, whether it be churches. The courthouse was open this on Saturday. It's a place where someone seeking an area of refuge during a storm event, whether it be cold weather or bad weather, extreme severe weather like we had Saturday, where they can go. There is no services offered. It's not a FEMA-approved safe room or anything, but it's just a safer place of refuge for them to go to. We're hoping this legislation is going to enable additional facilities across the state and give it more to be utilized and give it more of a uniform, organized program. Ethics law and open meetings laws are something else that's going to be discussed in great detail. There are some of the revisions that were implemented in the ethics law a number of years ago have made some specific provisions very blurred as far as who they apply to, specifically some of our local boards and the responsibilities they have to report to the Ethics Commission. So that's going to be a very important item for us to watch as well. Chairman, that's all I have.
Thank you. Commissioner Reeves?
Yes. I just want to thank everyone for coming to the commission meeting this afternoon. And I would like to thank all our EMA director for the things that he do to keep the citizens here in this county safe. And I want to thank all our county employees for the kind, courteous service that they give to the citizens in this county and others. And I'd like to just say that I have 2 or 3 members of my family that's overseas, and they scattered about in Iraq, Afghanistan, and I'd like for all the citizens to pray for our president that he make the right decision, and pray for the servicemen and women that's overseas at this time. Mm-hmm. And I'd like to also ask you to pray for the Bozeman family. She lost her daughters this morning. And just pray for each one of us, the commission. That's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner Reeves. I appreciate my fellow commissioners and their comments. A couple of items to address. One, we continue to see tremendous progress in the immediate historic downtown Wetumpka area. They are approaching the end of the paving process, or the prepping of the roads, and the paving should come in the very near future. It's an exciting time to see the progress that's taking place, and we appreciate everyone's involvement and participation in that. Some of that funding came through the MPO, on which I serve in the capacity as a board member, and I appreciate the other leaders throughout the River region who recognize that we have the opportunity to utilize federal funds for various projects throughout the region, and this is one project that is receiving some of that funding, and there are others throughout the region that do the same, and I'm glad that we have a cooperative group to help everyone move forward. Also like to emphasize the opportunity that each of us have in the coming weeks to participate in and to visit the candidate forums and fairs that are coming up. It is very important that we all take our right to vote very seriously, and there are opportunities that various groups in the county have put together to allow the citizens to interact with on a very personal level with both local candidates and candidates that will be serving on the state or the national level. So I hope that we will all echo that in our spheres of influence, whoever you may interact with, that these opportunities are there. And unfortunately, in many cases, they're not as well attended as we would like. And so I hope that we see activity in these events, and that we see new faces, young faces, learning about the candidates and the opportunities to serve in those various capacities. Also like to remind everyone that we are in the midst of the days leading, or the month leading up to the Census 2020. The census is vital to Elmore County and to the state of Alabama, and I hope that we are all taking that seriously, that we're looking for ways in which we can encourage others to participate in the census. Unfortunately, things like this sometimes are met with apathy, and I hope that that is not the case. This is something that occurs once every 10 years, but there has been no census more important to Elmore County and the state of Alabama than the census that is approaching in the coming months. And you don't get a do-over. It takes 10 years to fix it, and we're trying to fix what occurred in 2010 by getting out and getting people to participate in 2020. The governor has made this a priority, not just by saying it, but there are funds available. We as a county have participated with other municipalities and agencies. We've received grant dollars. We will be using those for promotion and advertising and opportunities to bring people together to engage and complete the census. So hopefully we can all make progress in that area. We look forward to our anti-littering campaign as part of the collections location that will be coming up. We'll also be rolling out an anti-littering campaign in the county. We recognize that Elmore County is a great place to live. We know that. We live here, but there will be transition, as there always is, and we want to put our best foot forward as a county, and litter is something that has become more and more prevalent. It's a behavioral issue, and hopefully we can make progress and remind people of the beauty of nature and what we can each do to remedy that. And the last thing I'll just mention regarding legislative actions, as Commissioner Mercer did an excellent job of reviewing the things that will be coming forth that may affect Elmore County, but an overwhelming theme that we will continue to echo as counties and as this county commission and as county commissions as a whole is we will continue to protect our citizens from unfunded mandates. So as we see things come forward that may affect Elmore County, and they may be something that would be beneficial for Elmore County, if it's going to be something that's mandated upon us, we are going to look for ways to fund that as well. We have our responsibilities that we use our local taxpayer dollars for, and we are doing everything we can to be good stewards of that. But when things continue to come down and have no funding mechanism behind them, it puts added strain on our local budget. So we will continue to monitor those things and look forward to a great legislative session to benefit the citizens of our great county and the state of Alabama. Kimberly, important calendar dates?
Monday, January 20th, the courthouse will be closed in observance of the birthday of Martin Luther King, Jr. Our next commission meeting will be Monday, January 27th at 5 p.m. with the business meeting following. The next countywide cleanup is Saturday, February 8th from 9 to 1, noting the rotating location is the Cusada Post Office. And our first meeting in February will take place on Monday, February 10th at 5 p.m. with the business meeting following.
Thank you. We'll reconvene shortly. Good evening. We'd like to welcome you to our Elmore County Commission business meeting dated Monday, January 13, 2020. We'll call this meeting to order. We'll begin with an invocation offered by Commissioner Reeves, following which Commissioner Mercer will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us bow our heads. Lord God, we come thank you for all that you do, all that you have done for us. And Lord, just give us the right spirit, the right mind, the right frame of mind. And Lord, create in us a clean heart with the right spirit. And Lord, bless everyone on the sound of my voice. And Lord, help us with the task that we have to do for our citizens. And Lord, while you added, you are already everywhere. So bless the President of the United States in his decision making, and bless all our servicemen, and bless each family that's represented. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Ms. Kim, would you call roll?
Commissioner Holt?
Here.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Here.
Chairman Stubbs?
Here.
Commissioner Mercer?
Here.
Commissioner Reeves?
All right, we'll proceed with regular business. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the December 9, 2019 Commission meeting as presented during the work session?
I'll approve them now instead of before.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs?
Yes.
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve the memorandum of warrants for the period of December 4, 2019 through January 8, 2020?
Motion approved.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Yes.
Proceeding with new business, is there a motion to approve copiers printers agreement with Bernie Office Solutions for the probate and tag offices and authorize chairman to execute?
Motion approved.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve authorizing chairman to execute memo of understanding between the Elmore County Commission, Elmore County Board of Education, and Rodney Griffith regarding future school property on Jackson Road?
Motion approved.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve construction agreement with AlDOT to resurface and traffic stripe on Foxwood Road from Autauga County line to Deatsville Highway, project number STPAA 2619-254 ECP 261119?
I make that motion.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve construction agreement with AlDOT to resurface and traffic stripe on Deatsville Highway from Millbrook city limits to Alpha Lane, project number STPAA 2619-255 ECP 261019?
Motion approved. Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve the consent docket as
So moved.
presented?
Motion.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Yes.
Personnel notifications. Notification of hire of Gina Hanks, Collections Clerk, replace Kay Helms, effective 1/20/20. Notification of resignation of Justin Fomby, Mechanic, effective 1/2/20. Notification of hire of Thomas McLeod, Mechanic, replace Jay Fomby, effective 1/6/20. Notification of hire of Scott Baker, Equipment Operator, fill vacant position, effective 1/6/20. Notification of promotion of Kristen Norris, Dispatcher Tier 1 to Dispatcher Tier 2, effective 12/18/19. Notification of promotion of Bonnie Speed, Dispatcher Tier 1 to Dispatcher Tier 2, effective 12/18/19. Notification of resignation of Michael Watson, Corrections Officer, effective 12/30/19. Notification of termination of Jason L. Brosius Jr., Corrections Officer, effective 12/31/19. Notification of resignation of Nathan Owens, Corrections Officer, effective 1/7/20. Any additional reports to the Commission? All right, I'll take a moment just to make sure that everybody knows that the Clemson Tigers are going to win tonight.
Oh, come.
All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn. Second. Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
We, was that yes, Tigers are going to win? All right. We are adjourned.